You wake up. Your eyes are open. You can see your own room, the door, the ceiling, the grey light through the curtains. You know exactly where you are, and you cannot move, not a finger, not your jaw to call out. There is a weight pressing down on your chest, slow and heavy, like something is sitting on it. And then, the worst part. You become absolutely certain that you are not alone. There is someone standing in the corner of the room. You can feel them watching you. You can't see them, you can't turn your head, and you can't move a single muscle to get away. It lasts a few seconds, maybe a minute. Then, just as suddenly, your body comes back and the presence is gone. And you lie there in the dark, heart pounding, asking the only question that matters. Who was standing in your room? This is Pondara, things you never thought to wonder about. And around 3 in 10 people somewhere on Earth have lived exactly the moment I just described. It's called sleep paralysis. For thousands of years, every culture that met it reached for the same explanation: a demon, a witch, a spirit sitting on your chest in the dark. And here's the strange thing, they weren't imagining the presence. The presence is real, in the sense that your brain genuinely produces it, every single time, in a way we can now explain almost down to the circuit. There really is something in the room with you, it just isn't what you think it is. And to find out who it actually is, we have to start with the comforting explanation, the one that's wrong. The easy answer, the modern, sensible one, is that it's just a nightmare, a particularly vivid, bad dream that you half remember as you wake. Your imagination ran wild for a moment, you were frightened, and your groggy brain stitched a story onto it afterwards. Nothing was ever really there, case closed. But that doesn't survive contact with the people who've had it, because in a nightmare you're asleep. In this, you are awake. Your eyes are open. You can see the actual room, your actual ceiling, your actual door. You can hear the real sounds of your house. You are not dreaming about your bedroom. You are in your bedroom, fully conscious, unable to move. So it isn't a dream you're remembering. It's something happening to you while you're awake, which is far stranger, and means the presence isn't a leftover from a dream at all. To understand where it comes from, you have to understand the one thing your brain does to you every single night that it's never once told you about. Every night, the moment you slip into REM sleep, the stage where the vivid dreams live, your brain quietly paralyzes your entire body. Deep in your brainstem, it floods the muscles with a switch-off signal and holds you completely still. Scientists call it REM atonia. You can just call it the lock. And it is one of the kindest things your brain does for you, because in REM, your brain is firing the same circuits it would use to actually run, actually fight, actually move. Without the lock, you'd physically act out every dream, kicking, running, swinging in the dark, next to the people you love. So the lock holds your body down while the dream plays safely inside. Now here's how waking up is supposed to go. 2 switches perfectly timed. As you surface, your brain releases the lock and brings your consciousness online together in one smooth handover. Body yours, mind awake, all at once. You stretch. You never knew the lock was there. But every so often, the timing slips. Your consciousness boots up a few seconds early while the lock is still engaged and the dream is still quietly running underneath. And that's the whole thing. That is sleep paralysis. Not a curse, not a visitation, a timing error of a few seconds where the part of you that wakes up arrives before the part of you that unlocks the body. So you're awake in your real room with the dream machinery still humming behind your open eyes. And that's where the presence comes from. There's a part of your brain whose entire job is to scan for threat, your built-in alarm. Normally, it checks the room, finds nothing, and stays quiet. But now it's switched on, fully alert, with almost no real information coming in. You can't move, you can't fully turn your head. The dream is bleeding faint imagery into your open eyes. So your alarm does what millions of years built it to do. With no data, it reaches for the oldest, safest guess our ancestors ever made in the dark. Someone is here. The presence in the corner isn't in the room. It's your threat detector, answering a question with no evidence, in the only way that ever kept us alive. And the weight on your chest? That's just your breathing, still shallow and slow the way it always is in a dream, felt for the first time while you're awake to notice it. So here's the part that turns the whole thing inside out. If sleep paralysis is just wiring, the same lock, the same alarm in every human skull, then it should feel roughly the same everywhere. It doesn't. A neuroscientist named Baland Jalal compared people who'd had sleep paralysis in two very different places, Egypt and Denmark. The biology was identical, the experience was not. In Egypt, where the episodes are widely understood as the work of a malevolent spirit, a jinn that comes in the night, people had them far more often, the paralysis lasted longer, and around half were terrified they might actually die. In Denmark, where it's mostly shrugged off as a harmless quirk of the brain, people had them less often for shorter spells, and very few were frightened of dying at all. Read that again, because it's the strangest finding in all of this. The same shape stands in the corner of every room, in every country, in every century. The biology hands everyone the exact same presence. But how much it terrifies you, how long it pins you there, how convinced you are that it means to hurt you, depends enormously on the story your culture handed you about what it is. The fear isn't coming from the figure in the corner. The fear is coming from what you were taught to believe the figure is. That's why the demon shows up so reliably across cultures that never met. It was never a real visitor that thousands of separate peoples happen to see. It's one piece of shared human hardware. The freeze, the weight, the presence that every culture independently named and then taught its children to fear. The biology is universal, the monster is local, and it was handed to you. So, that figure standing in the corner of your room, the one you couldn't see, couldn't face, couldn't run from, now you know who it was. It was you. It was your own threat detector, wide awake in a body that hadn't unlocked yet, filling the silence of the dark with the only answer it had. The weight on your chest was your own slow breathing. The frozen body was the same gentle lock that protects you every single night, simply running a few seconds late. There was something in the room with you. There always is. It just happens to live behind your forehead, and it was only ever trying to keep you safe. And here's why that matters, beyond the science of it. If the terror partly comes from the story, then knowing the real story is the closest thing there is to a cure. The next time it happens, and for some people it will, you can lie there and quietly name it. The lock is still on. The dream is still running. That presence is my own alarm, filling the dark. And the figure in the corner gets a little smaller every time. It passes within seconds. It has never, in all of recorded medicine, harmed a single person. If it happens often or it frightens you, it's always worth a quiet word with a doctor. But for most people, it isn't a disorder at all. It's just the lock, running late. If you've ever lain frozen in the dark, certain someone was there, tell me below what your culture or your family told you it was. I genuinely love to read them. And if you want the other side of this, the nights your mind wakes up inside the dream instead of beside it, that's our video on lucid dreaming, and it's the strange mirror image of this one. Subscribe to Pondara and keep wondering about the things you never thought to wonder about. The dark was never empty. It was just you, awake a moment too early, meeting the oldest part of your own mind. Sleep well.